Good morning, all. Hope you are able to hear me.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
very good morning. 6:56 already. Okay. Any questions before we proceed from yesterday's? Like we have started the project part. Like what are the different projects we will have in SAP environment? Clear? So we've started already. We have started implementation project. What do you mean by an implementation project? We discussed. So fresh the software introduced in any one particular company, then that particular project is known as a project implementation project. And in implementation project, again I mentioned that there would be normally 20 to 100 people will involve, or see, that's an assumption example I said. It's not mandatory that 100% they will have a 20 to 100. No, it could be more than that, it could be less than that also. Again, depends upon the project duration and project size. Okay. And the duration of the project, normally it would be implementation project 12 to 24 months. And sometimes again, if we are implementing to a giant company, then it may take another year also. It's a tentative, whatever I'm saying, right? And there are different methodologies are there. That is nothing but different steps are there to implement the particular project, right? And this particular project, we call it as an SAP methodology. SAP methodology. A stands for accelerated SAP methodology. Normally, we call it as an agile methodology also, right? We have a different, another methodology is also there. Now, latest we are using, that is called activate methodology. Okay, this is a classic version ASAP methodology. We are going to discuss about activate methodology also when we start S4 HANA part. Clear? What is act? So here we need to follow. What is the difference? I'll just give you. In ASAP methodology, we need to follow the sequence step. First, we need to do the project preparation phase, right? And after that, business blueprint phase. After that, realization phase, right? Like that, we need to follow a sequential step, right? But when it comes to activate methodology, you can follow any step first. It's not mandatory that you need to follow. Once everything is that in real time, you can follow any step first, and after that, you can follow another step. That is called activate methodology. We will see in depth. Okay. So in project preparation phase, we saw different. This is nothing but a documentation part. We will call it as in this first two phases, project preparation phase and business blueprint phase. Both will have only documentation part. Only documentation part. Clear? So in project preparation phase, we have different project documentation will be prepared. That is nothing but project agreement. What do you mean by project agreement document? In the project agreement document will mention, both the project managers will set, and they will mention what would be the cost of the project. Clear? Only the pricing part will be discussed in agreement. And what is the timeliness of the payments? When the service receiver will pay the amounts to service provider. So only that thing will be mentioned in project agreement phase. When it comes to project scope document, see, clear? Project scope document, as I mentioned earlier also, whenever the client purchases SAP licenses, SAP AG, the company SAP AG, will give the complete dump to the client. Whenever we purchase the license from SAP, right, it will give the complete dump. Means 36 different modules are there in SAP. So the total 36 modules will be given to the client. Clear? But 36 modules are not required to client. They may require 8 or 10 modules, right? So whatever are required for the client out of 36 module, they will consider as an in scope, within scope, and whatever are not required to the client, that is considered as an out of scope. Clear? Out of 36, probably 12 are required for the client and another 20 are not required, right? So then that 20 processes, 20 more modules, 20 departments, whatever SAP is supporting, that is considered as an out of scope. And whatever 12 are required or 10 are required for a client, then that is considered as in scope. Clear? Within scope. Next one, project plan document. This is a very important document. So in this, they will mention when the project is going to start, clear, and when it's going to be end. As I said, that duration will be discussed, but on which date, specific date, on which date it's going to start, and end date would be a tentative date. End date would be a tentative date. It may end on that particular date or it may not end at that particular date. Clear? So then that will be mentioned. Start date would be a compulsory date when they're going to start it, but whatever end date I have mentioning, that date would be a tentative, 1 month here and there or 2 months here and there, because as per the actuals, the things will be taken care. Next one, project team. This is another important. Here in this, once the project plan is ready, then the project team will be identified from both the sides. That is from service receiver side and as well as service provider side, right? And whatever from service receiver side, whatever team is going to involve, again, I'm reiterating, from service receiver team, whatever team is going to involve, clear, that team is known as core team members. Core team members, that is nothing but CTMs. So if the people who are trying to attend as a fresher interview, so they will try to, or you are keeping an experience of 3 years, you're keeping an experience of 3-4 years, and they'll try to pull your leg that what is the role of yours in CTM. Hope you got it, right? They will try to pull your leg whether you are having an end user experience or a consulting experience. They'll, if the people don't have a terminology called, don't know the terminology called CTMs, then they'll try to pull, right, which role you are in CTM level. CTM level, associate level, or assistant manager level, or manager level, or operations manager level, or what level. Clear? So you need to say clearly that my role was not into CTM part. My role was into consulting part. I was not working for service receiver. I was working for service provider. So that is an airline difference. If people doesn't know the term called CTM term, right, end user terminology, then definitely they will, means if we are keeping some experience, like some experience, we are modifying our experience. Not fake, I'm saying, what we don't have a consulting experience, but we are modifying our resume accordingly. Then if they get any sort of questions, then they'll try to check here in this particular phase, they're going to check what is the CTM experience you are having, what role you worked as in CTM. If people feel that consulting team member, they'll consider it as an, so the people who doesn't know CTM means core team member, then definitely they'll say that yes, I have worked for CTM for 3 years. Then immediately they'll say that thank you very much. Okay. So the project team and the service provider partner means this is our cup of tea. This is our role, what we are going to do. So we will be considered as a consultant team. Consultant team. So again, the consultant team again divided into two consultings. One is functional, another one is technical. Already we discussed what are the functional consultants and who are the technical consultants. Okay. Next one, after identifying the team, then the discussion will be taken place, hardware and software facilities. How many servers are required? Clear? How many systems are required? How many laptops are required? Clear? What is the network bandwidth is required? Clear? How many tabs are required? How many landline phones are required? All those stuffs will be discussed in this. And same time, software facilities like Microsoft Office, like any other snipping tool, Snagit, right? And other supporting softwares. Okay, PDF format software. So all those things will be discussed in this particular step. Clear? And apart from that, other facilities. Again, the last important discussion would be on other facilities. What do you mean by other facilities? As I said earlier also. So we are traveling to Hyderabad, for example, we are in Bangalore or some other place. Okay, Pune or some other place. We are traveling for this particular implementation. We are traveling to Hyderabad. So for that particular purpose, to stay, right? To have a breakfast, lunch, dinner, or whatever facilities we require, minute to minute things will be discussed and mentioned in the document. Clear? So that is considered as an other facilities. Once all these are discussed and finalized, then they will conduct one kickoff meeting by both the teams. Both the teams in the sense 100% end user team will be there, and whoever consulting team is there, only those people will be there, and they will discuss in that particular meeting that they are going to announce from end user side, they are going to announce that they are going to introduce new system or new software in their organization, and what are the different level, what is the start date of this particular project and expected to be end of this particular project, and what are the different trainings of each department will have. All those stuff will be discussed in kickoff meeting. Any questions till here? This we have discussed. Any questions till here? Yes, no. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
No, sir,
Yes,
it's
sir.
okay.
It's
So,
okay, sir.
sir, one thing, like we talk about CTMs, right?
Yes.
So, CTMs would be like a team of the company for which we are working for implementing the project.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the CTM include is from their team, project managers, and the team working on it. Is it?
Team, yeah, end user team, Ready Labs, whatever we took.
So end user basically mean the team who would be working on when the project is implemented, right? After that.
No, see, in the sense why we are taking end user team in the sense, see, we don't know the customer business process, right?
Okay.
Right? We don't know the customer business process. So
Okay.
what they will do is whoever are
They will be
expertise.
one who will be helping us understand.
Correct, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Means we will implement, we will do the testing, they will see at the end whether whatever output they are expecting, whatever output they used to get in the previous one, okay, the same thing they are getting or not, they will just check it. Got my point? Those people are considered as in CTMs. They are going to help us in the business process, not an implementation, in the business process. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Next one, next business document we are going to prepare is business blueprint phase. This is very important document. Okay. So in business blueprint phase, two documents will be prepared. Two documents will be prepared. One is as is document. As is means before implementation of SAP, how the business process, nothing but, for example, they are using Tally as their accounting software or whatever software, or Oracle they are using, or PeopleSoft they are using. Clear? So before implementation of SAP, how the business process, how the reports, what kind of reports they are going to generate, right? How the entries would be shown, then that particular document, we call it as an as is document, as is, right? Currently, we are into discussion phase, right? Now, how the system is working, okay, then that document, we call it as an as is document. And this document is also known as CSBP, current state of business process. Either you can call it as an as is document or CSBP document. Clear? And one more document will be prepared, that is called to be document. I'll tell you who will prepare as is document and who will prepare to be document. To be document is nothing but another, we will call it as an FSBP. FSBP, this is nothing but after implementation of SAP. After implementation of SAP, we are going to mention on the paper, after preparation of SAP, these are the outputs you are going to get. These many reports you can generate. Your entries looks like this. So everything before implementation only, we are going to show them on the paper, on the document. That is called to be document. That is nothing but FSBP document, future state of business document, business process. CSBP, FSBP, current state of business process, future state of business process. Clear? So when it comes to as is document, as is document will be prepared by core team members, CTMs. Why? Because they have a knowledge on their business process. So they will step by step, clearly, step by step, they will write the minute to minute step. They will switch it on system, right? As soon as we switch it on, we will log into the software. After that, we will do this particular step. After that, we will do this particular step. So entire document will be prepared by CTMs. Means how the current state of business process is going on in the existing software, in the current software, current system. So then that particular document, we are going to call it as a as-is document. In this, they will mention current state of business process, as I said, CSBP document before implementation of SAP. For example, in this document, CTMs will mention that, for example, there are total 80 business processes. You know, what do you mean by business processes? Business process means sequence of activities. Yesterday we discussed sequence of activities. So means they have mentioned total in each department or overall department, there are total 80 different processes are there. Total 80 different processes are there, right? Or in finance department or HR department, and each department, CTMs will mention the different processes in their department. As I said that finance department, 2 people will involve from end user. HR department, 2 to 3 people will involve. Procure to pay, 2 to 3 people will involve. Sales and distribution, 2 to 3 people will involve. And each CTMs will prepare end to end. And overall, they found that total 80 business processes are there. Or you can find that in finance only 80 business processes are there. Clear? And that document will be prepared by, who will prepare as is document? Who will prepare as is document? CTMs. Again, the question, have you ever involved in preparation of as is document? You need to say no. Why? Because it's not our job, it's an end user job. Any questions here? Any questions here? As is document? Good to go?
Sir, means in this as-is document, we were, as a consultant, we were not involved, no?
We are not going to involve. After preparation of that document, we will review once. We will try to understand that particular document, because without understanding as is document, we can't proceed to the steps, configuration part. We need to understand that as is document. So most of the time we will spend here itself as a consultant. Clear? We won't prepare, but we need to review, we need to understand the document and as well as the business process end to end. If at all we have any queries at the time of reviewing the as-is document, then again we will go back to CTMs and we'll ask them whatever queries we have. Once we are clear with the documentation, then only we will start preparing to be document. Before that, we won't prepare any to be document, because every consultant, whoever are involved, finance consultant, as a finance consultant, we need to review and we need to understand thoroughly how the business process is existing. That we need to understand. Clear? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yeah. So the most important document to be document, right? Once we receive as is document, then we will prepare to be document. To be document will be prepared by functional consultants. Means who are functional consultants here? Who are functional consultants here?
Implementing team that we consultants who are doing
Who?
this.
No, service provider.
Infosys.
We.
Yeah.
We don't consider like this is the particular cost for consulting roles, correct? So whenever we say whenever we are using the term called functional consultants, remember that is we. Clear? So to be document will be prepared by functional consultants, that will be prepared by us. Okay, so based on as is document, as I mentioned, that once we understood this particular document, then we will prepare to be document, how business is going to be, business software is going to be after implementation of SAP, what kind of reports can be generated by the end user, right? How the approval flow will work, and everything will be discussed in this to be document. will be mentioned, not discussed, will be mentioned in to be document. Clear? And for example, how many business processes we found in as
80.
this document? 80. So out of 80 business process function, out of 80 business processes, functional consultants are able to map, okay, 73 processes with standard SAP. Understood what I'm saying? Out of 80 business processes, out of 80 business processes, out of 80 businesses processes, consultants are able to map directly without anything. They're able to map 73 business processes with SAP standard business processes. Understood? Directly we can map. How many we are able to map? 73. So whatever we can directly map that particular procedure, we call it as a configuration. What we call configuration. What do you mean by configuration? So whatever business processes are there, out of that we can directly map with SAP standard business processes to the client business processes, then that is considered as a configuration. The term, remember this, configuration. Is this clear? Any questions?
Yes, sir. No.
What do you mean by configuration?
Whatever
Configuration is
SAP
nothing
standard
but,
is
yeah,
provided.
with standard SAP business process, if you are able to map the client required business processes, then that is considered as a configuration. So here we are able to directly map the client business processes with SAP standard business process. How many business processes we are able to map?
70.
73. So how many we are not able to map?
7.
7, right? Those 7, whatever SAP, the 7 business processes which we are not able to map, those are considered as a gaps. Those are considered as an gaps. Here gaps means what? Whatever the client requirement business process, if we are not able to configure, if we are not able to map with SAP standard business process, okay, then those things are considered as an gaps. So for example, we found 100 business processes, and out of that we are able to map 83. We are able to map 83. So how many business processes, how many gaps are there? How many gaps are there?
17.
17. Now try to the terminology called gaps, terminology called configuration. Clear? The terms called configuration, the term called gaps, and customization. Now we are going to discuss about customization. Clear? So here gaps. So how many gaps are there in this example?
7.
7. So the gaps can be customized. The gaps can, see that it doesn't mean that, okay, 7 we are not able to map, so we will leave that. No, we are not going to leave. What we need to do, we need to customize the requirements, because SAP standard it is not having. So whichever are not there, the customer requirement business process, whatever processes, whatever things we are not able to configure directly with SAP standard, we need to customize. So anything and everything can be customized in SAP. That is the beauty of SAP compared to other ERPs. Clear? Anything and everything can be customized. That is the thing. As I said, that integration makes the difference between SAP with other ERPs, and the same time the customization part makes the difference between SAP and other ERPs. That's the reason it is taking an edge over other ERPs because of these two features. Again, I'm reiterating, everything and anything can be customized in SAP according to the client requirement business process. For example, if you are able to map only 50% with customer business requirement, customer business process with SAP standard, another 50%, are we going to leave? No, we are not going to leave. We are going to customize according to the client business requirement process. So in Apple, as I said, that whatever project I am in, right, in that particular project, only 10% SAP standard will be there. They use only 10% SAP standard, and another 90% we need to customize. Hope you got my point. That is called customize. Means as per the client requirement, if SAP standard is not providing, okay, then that has to be customized. Configuration, customization, two different terminology. Configuration is that, configuration means which we can map client requirement business process with SAP standard business process. That is called customization, configuration. And what do you mean by customization? Which we are not able to map with SAP standard business process with client business process, right? That we call it as a gaps, and those gaps can be customized in SAP according to the client business requirement. Any questions here? So do we customize? Do we customize from our end? No, we are not. Our role would be only configuration. That's it, right? As I said that we will understand the 100% business process of customer, right? And we decided that out of 80 business processes, only 73 we can configure, and other 7 there is a gap. There are gaps. So what we are going to do, that requirement, okay, that has to be developed. That has to be developed according to the client requirement. So our part as a FI consultant or a CO consultant or a MM consultant, our responsibility is only the configuration part. We won't write a single line program in entire our career. Clear? A single line program we're not going to write. So whatever customization is required, that particular 7 processes, whatever I'm taking example, that 7 processes we will take to ABAPer. Okay, and we will explain the ABAPer. Who is an ABAPer? ABAPer is not, what is ABAPer? ABAPer will write the coding. In the backend, there is a programming language is used in SAP. That program, we will call it as an ABAP program, Advanced Business Application Program. And that consultant, we are going to call it as a technical consultant or ABAP consultant, right? And whatever requirements, we will give it to them. So they will write the program. They will develop the screens according to the client requirement process. We need to explain them. So the client require these things, clear? And we need these kind of screens, right? So they will develop those screens. Once they develop the screens, and they will inform us that these screens are developed, we will check, we will test, and after that we will configure the developed steps. Understood? The development will be taken care by whom? The customization will be taken care by whom? ABAPer, technical consultant. They will write the coding. Again, I am reiterating, SAP is developed in backend. There would be a programming language will be written for SAP screens. That programming language, we call it as an ABAP programming language. That is nothing but Advanced Business Application Program, which is a business program. Earlier, this particular ABAP was developed. This ABAP programming language was developed, derived from ABAP. You know that. What is ABAP? Advanced, already we discussed, Advanced business application program. Okay, this particular program, ABAP, what is the origin of ABAP? ABAP is derived from a programming language called COBOL. Means prior to 2000, there is no programming language called ABAP, right? There is a programming language called COBOL. What do you mean by COBOL? All the business machines, all the business languages, business applications are used to develop COBOL, and this is that patent was with IBM, International Business Machines, right? So the COBOL stands for Common Business Oriented Language. Common. So this ABAP, so there is, due to some reasons, this COBOL was not, we are not using right now, and this ABAP was developed, derived, most of the codes will be taken from COBOL itself. Clear? In the backend, SAP screens are developed, okay, with a coding language called ABAP. And whoever use this programming language, who will develop this program, they are known as an ABAP consultants. Clear? Any questions on this? Any questions?
No.
Yeah. So here, next, business blueprint document is a final document. Business blueprint document is a final document which contains, what are the things it will contain? Business blueprint document, it contains as is document, whatever there in as is, existing business process, plus to be, how it will be, plus developments. That is nothing but how we are going to fill the gaps, right? So here, as is document will be prepared by CTMs, to be document will be prepared by functional consultant, and developments will be taken care by technical consultant, ABAP consultant. Once these documents are prepared, the consultants will send it to CTMs. Consultant to CTMs. So what CTMs? So after preparation of this business blueprint document, so the consultants will check everything. They will try to understand. Means before implementation only, we will explain everything on the paper, right? What would be the output and how we are going to customize and everything. Okay, so they may come up with, after giving the documents to them, they may come up with their queries. Maybe they won't understand something. Then we need to clearly explain them that this particular business process is going to work like this. Clear? So sometimes CTMs may accept or may not accept the changes. Correct? So maybe the requirement was something different and we understood in different way, and we are written in the different way. Clear? So they may not accept. So according to their requirement, we need to update the document. Clear? So here, sometimes CTMs may accept or may not accept of the changes in to be document plus development. So functional consultant need to satisfy the CTMs. The CTMs. Once the CTMs are satisfied, right? The solutions which are given by functional consultants, then these documents will be forwarded to BPOs. Right? Once all the CTM, whoever are involved from each department, if they are okay with the changes and as well as the to be document, then they're okay with that, then that particular document will be sent to BPOs. BPOs here is nothing but not a business process outsourcing. Here business process owners from end user team, means head of the institute, Ready Labs head. Clear? They will have a more knowledge than the CTMs. Overall knowledge I'm talking about, not departmental activities. Overall knowledge they will have more compared to the CTMs. Clear? The BPO may come up with different queries. They will understand, okay, they may come up with different queries sometimes. Okay, again, we need to satisfy them. We need to explain them. Clear? Consultant need to satisfy the BPOs regarding the changes. Once the BPO accepts the changes, okay. Any questions still here? Any questions still here?
No, sir, it's fine.
Right? So the major process starts from here. Once the BPO, nothing but head of the institute or head of the department, not head of the department, sorry, head of the center, whatever center we are talking, end user level, whatever head will be there. If he satisfies, then what is our job? We need to take hard copy of business blueprint. We need to take a printout of complete documentation, right? So from here, again, one important question here, signing process. We need to remember this signing process. Clear? As a consultant, we will involve in signing process. So here, then the consultant will take the hard copy of BBP, business blueprint document. Okay, and will take the signature of BPO, first signature. From whom we will take? Business process owner, the head of end user side. The first signature will be done by that particular person, right? So first signature, BPO will sign, and we will call it as a signature one. We will call it as a signature one. Okay. Once the BPO signed, then the CTMs are supposed to sign. From the core team, departmental experts need to sign the second signature. Clear? First one, BPO. Second one, core team members. Okay, supposed to sign, and we'll call it as a signature 2, right? And once CTMs are signed, then project manager from implementation partner, right? End user project manager need to sign the third signature. Must be signed. We will call it as a signature 3. First one, BPO, CTMs, project manager from end user side. Next one, once the project manager from implementation partner signed, after that, the project manager from development partner, must sign. Project manager from development, nothing but Infosys, from our project manager need to sign. That is called signature 4. Signature 4. And finally, at the end, consultants will sign. Okay, we will call that signature as a 5. Signature 5. The complete process is considered as a signing process. The complete process is considered as a signing process. Understood? From 1st to 5th, whatever signature process is there, that we will consider it as a signing process. So any questions on this? In real-time environment, this particular things we need to remember at least for interview point. First one, first signature, BPO, business process owner. Second, CTMs, project manager of end user side. Next one, project manager from implementation, that is nothing but service provider one. Last but not least, consultants, both technical and as well as functional, whoever are involved in that particular project. So any questions in this?
Sir, in this last 5th signature, means we want to sign as a consultant.
Yes, we have to sign.
Oh.
Right? All the functional consultant and all the technical consultant has to be agree and has to be signed.
As a fresher or as a 3 to 4
Whoever,
years
if you are
experience?
involved in implementation project, whether you are a fresher or experienced, you need to sign it because it indicates that you are involved, going to be involved and
in this project,
in this particular project.
Thanks.
Okay. So this is the most important thing. And till here, we will do only the documentation part. Clear? And the next phase, after business blueprint phase, the next phase, we will have a realization phase. Okay. Actual phase is realize. This is where we directly involve in this particular. The actual work will take place in this particular phase, realization phase. That's the reason I have mentioned the actual work or the real work or practical work will start in this phase. Clear? In this phase, there will be servers over there, whatever in a project plan doc, not sorry, project hardware and software, whatever we discussed, that's going to be implemented here. How many servers it's required, that going to be introduced here. Clear? So how many servers we have and how many minimum servers we can have and all the stuff we are going to implement in this particular phase. So realization phase, they may ask you, okay, in interview, which phase you have involved in your project, implementation project. So sometimes you are not there in the signing process due to some or the other reason because you are engaged in some other project. Okay, so till that your senior consultant or any other consultant, if we are busy, then those people will taking of the signing process and everything. But if you are there in implementation project, then we may directly introduced in realization phase. So they may ask you. If so, normally what I advise the people is, don't say that we are involved in the signing process and all those stuff. So if they ask you which phase you have started involved in the project, implementation project, in the sense, always says that in the realization phase. Because the signing process, what are the signing process, what was the as is document, what is a to be, what is the solutions you have given, and all those stuff they may ask you. If you say that I have involved in the signing process, without involving in signing process also, we can directly involve in realization phase. So they may ask you why you have not involved in signing process. Because I was engaged with other existing project that was not completed at that particular moment, and when it moved to realization phase, I was free and they have released from that particular existing project and have involved in this particular project, started working on this particular project, and in that too in realization phase. Clear? Any questions before we proceed?
No, sir. Fine.
Right? So hope it's not going above, right? It's almost all pure technical things, right? Pure literature. So another 1 week, the coming 1 week, we are going to discuss about the same literature part. Try to be with me because it's very important to understand. Very, very important to understand. Once we are done with this client process, I'll share this document. Clear? Once we, as I said, that SAP login till here, we are going to do much literature part, more literature part, right? In this week, we will close it. Today is Wednesday, mostly Thursday, Friday, I'll close the literature part. The complete literature part. Within coming 2 days, I'll close it. And Monday, we are going to start with the practical part. And I'll advise you when you need to take the server access. If people have not taken any server access, I'll update you by coming Tuesday. When you need to take and all those stuff. What kind of server you need to take and everything I'll update you. Is that fine? Yes, no.
Yes, that's fine.
Thank you. And we will do this particular next phase in tomorrow's session. Because we can't complete. This is a very important, as I said, that realization phase where the actual work will start. So that's the reason we will continue this particular phase in tomorrow's session and try to be joined by 7:45. Clear? So that we can complete the entire part. As I said, my target is tomorrow is Thursday, Friday. I'll try to cover the complete and the literature part. Monday, we can start with the practical part. Right? On Friday, I'll share this document along with your recordings. Hope everyone are getting their recordings.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Sir,
Yes,
there was
please.
point.
Yes, please.
Sir, this customized means with the help of ABAP,
Mhm.
can we do the practical? Can we have
No,
one
we can't.
example?
We can't do that.
At least means I want to see how they are customized.
See, that's what I'm saying. See, we don't see. Normally, if possible, at the time of integration, I'll get one ABAP consulting. Because at the end we are going to do, once we are complete with FI module, so we are going to integrate with FI with MM with FI with SD, right? FI with the PP. So at that particular point of time, what I'll do is I'll try to accommodate one ABAP consultant, and he will give you how they will write a coding. We will see the technical terms also here in each and every screen. I'll show you the technical terms also. Clear? But in real time also, we won't see that. We will say them, that's it. We will say them that is a requirement. Okay. We are not going to involve in that ABAP work, ABAP's work. They will
Yes,
develop, they will write the program, they will develop, okay, and they will give it only the screen part, not the technical part. Right? And we will do the testing on that particular screens. That testing, however, we are going to see. Hope you
Okay,
got
sir.
my point.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from anyone before we call it for today? Any questions?
No, sir. All right.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Mm.